Hi, this is Laura from LiveVisions.com, and this video is going to be all about Taurus. Whether you have your Sun, your Moon, Mercury, Mars, or Venus in Taurus, this is everything Taurus. I also wanted to let you know, sometimes my calculator, if you're not sure where your planets are, you can go to my calculator on my website, and it's right here. Click on that in the purple. But sometimes it goes on the fritz, so I would advise you to go to astro.com and look at their birth chart calculator and figure out where you have planets in Taurus, and this video will help you there, okay? Okay, here we go. What does it mean to have your Sun in Taurus? Well, this means that security and stability are going to be major factors throughout your life. Tauruses are ruled by Venus, so you're also going to be probably a very sensual person. You care about beauty and luxury. There could be, you also like the value of a dollar. You know the value of money because you rule the second house of income. So sometimes when you buy something luxurious, you like to know that you got a good deal on that. That's a Taurus trait. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes, depending on what planet you have in Taurus, probably if you have Venus in Taurus, probably I would say, possibly Mars, especially if Venus is conjunct, I don't know, Mars. But, you know, hoarding can be seen with the sign of Taurus because they like to acquire things. They like to buy things. They like, especially Venus is in the second house as well, and especially if it's in Taurus. So you like to acquire things, you like to buy things, you like to, you know, you love luxury. And one thing about Taurus is they're very careful and practical. So a lot of times before they do something, they think about it, research it, and then make a decision. This isn't the type of person where you're like, yeah, let's get up and go and let's do something spontaneous today. Taurus is like, no, I'd just rather, you know, they can be homebodies, you know, and they like to do things with structure and order and planning, you know. So they're not like, let's go somewhere by the seat of our pants kind of a person, or you just want to be with someone who does things off the cuff, and that's not Taurus. Taurus is very secure and stable, and they like structure. Their shadow side is Scorpio, so they can be sometimes insecure and possessive, sometimes, but they're not known for drama, really. They don't really like, it's not really the sign of drama. This is a sign where the senses are heightened. So their sense of taste, touch, smell is that much more heightened, which is why a lot of chefs and a lot of people who really are great at cooking have a lot of Taurus in their chart, okay? So these people also can be great at massage, and maybe they like giving massages or receiving massages depending on what planet is involved. They could like, you know, people who smell nice. They like colognes and perfumes, and they're ruled by Venus, so they can love how somebody looks, and they like beauty. And so I will say, you know, and they like planning. So perhaps dating somebody with Venus in Taurus, you know, or maybe if it's a man with Mars in Taurus, if it's a woman, Venus in Taurus, they may go out of their way to plan a date, really a nice date for you, you know. The only caution I will say about Taurus is, you know, they love luxury, they love beauty. One thing that Taurus sometimes can shoot themselves in the foot is because they're so practical and they're so, they know the value of a dollar. Sometimes can be a little bit cheap because they like to get the luxurious item, but they like to know they got a deal on it, okay? So if you're trying to impress a girl and you want to go to, you know, really great at planning, don't be thinking, okay, I'm going to go to this place and we're going to go on a picnic because I don't really want to take her to dinner because I'm not going to spend $200. You know, don't do that. You'll mess yourself up, Taurus. But for the most part, so let me talk about love, and I'm going to talk about, let's talk about the moon sign first, okay? So Moon in Taurus. If your moon is in Taurus, this is a very stable sign. Your emotions don't really fluctuate too much. You're very stable with your emotions, okay, which is good. You're like a rock with your emotions. And this means that your mother could have been a very stable person in your life. Depending on what house this is in, too, this can change things. But in general, Moon in Taurus is a very stable person. Moon also represents the wife if you're a man. So this could mean that you want a very stable woman to be your wife, somebody who's secure and practical, somebody who is really, maybe this woman is very practical with money too, and thinks about finances and things like this. So when it talks about your emotions, how do you react when you're emotional? I would say you're pretty much level-headed. You don't get too crazy with your emotions. However, they always say don't poke the zoo animals. I think if something's bothering you, you may let it go. You let it go, you let it go, you let it go, and then all of a sudden you could blow up. So sometimes if you're in a situation where you're being annoyed, Taurus can take a lot, but they will fight back after a while in a big way, like rawr. So be careful of that. But for the most part, Moon in Taurus is a very good placement for the Moon, okay? Now, Mercury in Taurus, how does this person communicate? Well, this person is a person of very few words, but they're very, it's a practical sign, right? So they say what needs to be said. How do I ever say this? Have you ever heard of somebody who they're like, there's a man of very few words, but in the words he spoke, he said a lot. So that is Mercury in Taurus. You may not be a chatterbox, but you say what needs to be said, and it's a very strong sign. So there's strength in your words, okay? And so I will say, and it's very earthy. You're very practical with what you say, So there's a meaning behind what you're saying. And not that there's not meaning with anybody with what they're saying, but it's just like you're a more practical speaker. You say what needs to be said. And there's strength behind it, I would say. What else? Mercury, like I said, Mercury in Taurus, very stable when it comes to communication, very practical. Could you get angry? Yes. Could you be, angry? I think once you're pushed and pushed and pushed, then you can speak with aggression. Okay. Now, let's go to Mars in Taurus. Mars in Taurus is a sign, again, all those attributes. If you're a man, Mars is your energy as a man, okay? So Mars in Taurus makes you, I want to say, your libido is not huge sexually, but I want to say this makes you, they say that Taurus is the most faithful sign in the zodiac, okay? So with your energy, you're going to exude stability, security, faithfulness, okay? However, I do know Tauruses who are not faithful, but that probably they don't have their Mars in Taurus. It depends on the planets, okay? So Taurus Sun Men, don't think that all Taurus Sun Men are going to be the most faithful in the zodiac, because it depends on where these other placements are. I would say Mars in Taurus would be a very faithful sign. Also, this would be somebody who is all about security and stability and structure, This would be somebody who perhaps goes out of their way planning things, You could be financially frugal. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're going on a date, make sure that you're not, even though they do like luxury. So they do like, oh my gosh, they like to have nice things, and they like luxury and all this stuff, but they're really watchful of the finances, and sometimes you can break a date by just, you can make the most beautiful time. This is just advice, okay? This is because I've been there and done that, okay? And of course, somebody is cleaning my building right now. So this is just some advice. If you are taking somebody out, don't go with coupons, or don't be like, oh, take it to the Shed Aquarium and you want to watch the dolphin show, and it's like an extra $10, and you're like, oh no, we don't need that. I'm saving the $10, and Taurus may actually say that, you're going to kill your date. That's just advice, okay? All right, women with Mars and Taurus. the Mars in a woman's chart is what you're looking for in a man, okay? So you're looking for a man who's very practical, who's very earthy, who's very grounded and down to earth. You know, you're not looking for a guy who's, you know, this isn't a guy who's very flashy or anything. This is a guy who's stable and secure. So if the guy's been at his job for like 10 years and has lived in his house for like 5 or 6 years, and, you know, the more stable he looks to you, the more appealing he's going to look to you too. You know, and the better he is at his job, and perhaps the more money he makes may feel more appealing to you because it looks like some more security to you. Also, this women with Mars and Taurus, I will say you're looking for a guy who's very sensual as well. The senses are heightened, somebody who's practical, knows the value of a dollar. This isn't somebody who spends all their money at the races or somebody, or is a gambler or something. This is somebody who's very practical with money and very shows security and stability. So to the woman, she's probably thinking, okay, he can offer me a home. He can offer me security with a good job. He can offer me stability because he knows the value of a dollar and knows how to handle money. Okay, so this is what she's looking at. This is what attracts her to you. Okay, so and for the most part, Mars and Taurus, if you're a woman, you could be very frugal. You could be very practical with money as well, because it's your energy as a person. Mars is male or female. This is your energy, okay, if you have that. So, you know, you're also, I want to say you like luxury, but you like to know you got a deal. You could be very, you could be a good cook. Definitely, male or female, Mars and Taurus, definitely great. You could be a great cook, great chef. Your senses are heightened. So you may like things like cooking shows, or like doing cooking, or having cook-offs, or wine tasting, or tasting different cheeses. And they're really good at detecting, you know, like texture and you know, my dad was a Taurus, and they're very good at saying, oh, this texture is gritty, or this texture is, you know, it needs a little bit of this. And they're great at that, especially if your Mars is in Taurus. You're great at this, you know. So those of you, and now we're going to go on to Venus. So those of you who have Venus in Taurus, Venus in a man's chart is the woman that you're attracted to. So if you have your Venus in Taurus, you're attracted to a woman who is very practical, who's very earthy, somebody who's a little bit frugal, who knows the value of a dollar. You're not looking for a woman who's going to take your credit card and just go crazy on it. Let's put it that way. You're not going to want a woman who's going to, you know, you want a woman definitely who's faithful. Okay, Venus and Taurus. You want somebody who's very faithful, who's very, she may be a homebody. She could be, she's not the get up and let's just go crazy kind of a person. Let's go to with the seat of our pants kind of a person. She's, you know, very practical, earthy, likes to plan things ahead of time. She's also very much, she could be very good with money, okay? So she's not going to like take your credit card and just run it through the roof, okay? So you're attracted to this kind of person, and also you're more attracted to a woman who's stable and secure. So if you know she's been in the same job for a long time and living in the same place for a long time, this is more attractive to the man. Okay, I'm not having to worry about this girl. She's stable. Now, if you're like bipolar, you know, and this guy's not going to like you, you know. If you're up and down in your emotions and all over the place, this guy is going to go as far away from you as possible. You know, he's looking for a very stable kind of woman, you know. Venus in a woman's chart is also how you flirt, okay? So you're going to show all these things about yourself. You may make beautiful dinners for the guy. You may want to give massages. You're the type to put petals in the bathtub and put like aromatherapy or oils and all this. You know, you're the type to do all of those things and go wine tasting together. Those things would really, you know, something that you would love, okay, Venus and Taurus. And, you know, so you would show these things. You would do these things for your partner. You would spend extra time making yourself smell good, look good, you know, but you won't break the bank doing it, okay? So those are the things. Now, Venus also shows money, whether you're male or female, where you may make money in your life. And Venus and Taurus, you can make money, and it also depends on what house this is in as well. You can make money in luxury goods, jewelry, cosmetics, music. You can be an actor. You can do banking. A lot of bankers, I would say, with this. Tailors, fashion industry, or property, real estate. Okay, any of these things you could make money. So I hope this helps you and gives you some information about the sign of Taurus. And I want to say, okay, as a caveat, I will do an 8th house sexuality video on the signs. But I think, if you have your 8th house in Taurus, just to give you a heads up, and you can look at astro.com to see where your 8th house is. But let's say you're dating somebody whose 8th house is in Taurus. They could be a type where they want the room, because it's ruled by Venus, right? So they're the type maybe in a sexual way. They like planning things, okay? So they might like to plan a trip to go on a romantic vacation, okay? Or they may like to do things where it's planned where, you're having massages together, or you're going to a beautiful place, or they're going to decorate the room because Taurus is also ruled by Venus. They're going to create a beautiful dinner, give you a massage, do the rose petals in the bathtub or whatever, body oils and all the sensual things. If your 8th house is ruled by Taurus, any of you, this would be appealing to you. Anything about ambiance and sensuality, cooking, anything that involves the heightened sense of taste. Like this could be, a physical experience, a sexual experience. It involves, fruits and like tasting, strawberries with whipped cream and things like this. This could, this is the 8th house of Taurus. This could, be as well. So look at that. And if you have planets in that 8th house, that just adds to it, what's already there. But I'm talking if the 8th house is ruled by Taurus by itself, okay? Alrighty, and if you have Venus there, then that just adds to what I'm saying. But if you have any other planets there, this can change things a bit. Alright, well I hope this video was helpful to you. If you like the video, please like, share, definitely share, and subscribe. And if you'd like a reading, I'm going to be putting a link on the video and you can order one. Okay? Well, I will talk to you soon. Hope this video was helpful. Bye-bye.